A secret nobody has ever confessed to you. What if I told you that the life you've so carefully built is actually a prison? And what if I told you that you are both the prisoner and the guard? Look, you've followed the rules, you've ticked all the boxes, you built a life that looks good on paper, one that gets the nod of approval from everyone around you. The right job, the right friends, the right goals, every single brick in the wall of your life was laid perfectly, all to build this fortress of success and security. But if that's all true, why do you feel so empty? Why is there a hollow ache in the quiet moments when the world finally stops demanding things from you? This is the secret nobody ever tells you. That fortress you built to protect you has become your cage. The life you thought you were controlling is actually controlling you, and your desperate need to please everyone has pleased no one, especially not yourself. Admitting this feeling isn't easy. It feels like you're betraying everything you've worked for. To the outside world, you're a success, but inside you feel like a fraud, totally unseen and misunderstood, wearing a mask that's starting to feel like it's fused to your skin. You're living out a script that someone else handed you, playing a role that isn't really you. Today, we're not just going to talk about this prison. We are going to start taking it apart, brick by brick. We're going to expose the uncomfortable truth about why you feel this way, and I'm going to share one core idea, one shift in perspective that holds the key to your freedom. This isn't about little life hacks. It's about a complete revolution in how you see yourself and your place in the world. So if you're ready to stop being a prisoner in the life you built, stay with me. The escape begins now. Let's be real about what this prison looks like. It's not a place with iron bars and stone walls. It's much sneakier than that. It's a cage made of invisible things, the weight of expectations, the fear of being judged, and the never-ending chase for applause. The bars of your cell are made out of the word should. I should be more successful by now. I should be married. I should want that promotion. I should just be happy with what I have. These should-haves are not yours. They're the echoes of your parents' dreams, the whispers of your friends' accomplishments, and the roar of society's very narrow definition of a good life. Every time you make a choice based on what you should do instead of what you truly want, you're just making those bars stronger. You're handing over another piece of yourself. The walls are built from other people's opinions. You've become a master at managing how people see you. You curate your social media to look like you're effortlessly successful. You pick your words in conversations, not to say what you think, but to get a specific positive reaction. You replay conversations in your head, wondering if you said the wrong thing. It creates this low-grade hum of anxiety that's always on, always calculating how you're coming across. Living for approval will always lead to a war inside yourself. And the chains holding you down, they're forged from your desperate need to be in control. You think that if you can just manage every little thing, control every outcome, and perfect every detail, you can avoid failure, rejection, and pain. You believe control equals safety, but that's the great illusion. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus figured this out thousands of years ago. He taught that our anxiety doesn't come from things that happen, but from our obsession with controlling things we can't. You can't control what other people think. You can't control the economy or whether a relationship will last. The more you try to clench your fist around the shifting sands of life, the more it just slips through your fingers, leaving you with aching, empty hands. This pointless chase for control is the very thing that chains you to a cycle of anxiety and disappointment. This is the design of your self-made prison. It's a masterpiece of fitting in, a fortress built to win the approval of a world that, ironically, is too busy building its own prisons to care much about yours. And the prize for all this work isn't the happiness you were promised. It's a quiet, gnawing emptiness, a feeling that, despite everything you've achieved, you've missed the whole point. Here's the secret. The uncomfortable truth at the center of it all, the emptiness you feel, is not a sign that you've failed. It's a sign that you have succeeded, but at the wrong game. You have become a world-class expert at living someone else's life, and your soul has a way of crying out when it's being starved. That hollow feeling is a distress signal. It's a call from the real you, the person you were before the world told you who you should be. The root of the problem is where you get your self-worth. By always looking for it outside yourself, you've basically outsourced your sense of value. You've let other people decide if you're okay. A promotion, a compliment, a like on a photo, they give you a temporary high, a fleeting sense of being enough. But it never lasts, because it isn't real, it's borrowed. When you chase goals not out of real passion, but out of a need to prove you're worthy, they feel empty when you get them. The goal was the validation, not the experience. Psychologists call this the arrival fallacy, the mistaken belief that getting to a certain milestone will finally make you happy. But it can't, because an external achievement can never fill an internal hole. This leads to a devastating paradox. The more you try to control how others see you, the less you feel in control of your own life. You become a slave to 1,000 different masters, your boss, your partner, your parents, your followers. Their expectations, whether you're imagining them or not, become your operating system. Your ability to make your own choices, or to even know what you truly want, starts to waste away like a muscle you never use. This is something therapists see all the time. Living for others' approval cripples our decision-making and can lead to serious anxiety and depression. The constant pressure to fit in creates a deep split inside, where you show a perfect life to the world while feeling totally alone and fake on the inside. This is the great trick of the prison. You think the walls are keeping you safe, but they're actually suffocating who you are. You think fitting in will help you connect with people, but it just leads to isolation because no one ever meets the real you. You think hitting external goals will build your self-esteem, but it only reinforces the idea that your worth is conditional, always depending on the next success, the next bit of praise. And here's the toughest part of the secret to swallow. You're in on it. You aren't just the prisoner, you're the guard who keeps yourself locked up. Every time you say yes when you mean no, every time you swallow your opinion to avoid a fight, every time you choose the safe path over the one that's calling to you, you are tightening the lock on your own cell. You do this because you're scared of what's outside the walls. The prison, as miserable as it is familiar. Freedom, on the other hand, is uncertain. It demands that you define yourself for yourself, and that is a terrifying responsibility, but it's the only way to a life that actually feels like yours. If what I'm saying is hitting home, if it's speaking to that quiet, hollow place inside you, then you're at a huge turning point. This is the moment where change can actually happen. To keep going on this journey, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because breaking free is a process, and we're going to walk it together. So, what's the key that unlocks this prison door? It's not some complicated system or a 10-step program. It's a single, powerful shift in your thinking. It's the move from being a character in someone else's story to becoming the author of your own. I call this the philosophy of authentic authorship, and it stands on two ideas: detachment and narrative identity. The first idea, detachment, comes from the ancient Stoics, and it's probably one of the most misunderstood ideas out there. It doesn't mean becoming a cold, unfeeling robot. It doesn't mean you stop caring. Detachment is about releasing your death grip on things you simply cannot control. The philosopher Epictetus taught a simple but life-changing idea called the dichotomy of control. He said everything in the world falls into two buckets: things we control and things we don't. What do we control? Our beliefs, our choices, our actions. What don't we control? Pretty much everything else. What people think of us, our reputation, our health, the results of our efforts. The source of our suffering, the Stoics said, is trying to control the things we can't. Think of an archer. She can control her training, her focus, her breathing. The moment she releases the arrow, that's it. She can't control a sudden gust of wind, or if the target moves, or if the arrow hits the bullseye. The wise archer, the detached archer, bases her success on the quality of her aim, not on where the arrow lands. She does the work, and then she lets go. This is what practicing detachment looks like. It's the radical act of putting your energy only into your own thoughts and actions. It means you write the best book you can, but you detach from whether it becomes a bestseller. You love someone with your whole heart, but you detach from needing them to love you back in the exact same way. You show up and do your best work, but you detach from whether your boss praises you for it. This doesn't make you weak, it makes you untouchable. When your peace of mind no longer depends on things outside of you, nothing and no one can hold it hostage. You take back your power. The second idea is narrative identity. This is the realization that our lives are shaped by the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. We are all storytellers, and the most important story you will ever tell is the one about who you are. From a young age, we're often handed these stories. Maybe you were told you were the smart one, or the messy one, or the one who's always good. We take these stories on and start living as if they're facts written in stone. But they're not. A story is just a story, and you have the power to write a new one. There's a whole field of psychology called narrative therapy, built on this idea that you can literally change your life by changing your personal story. It's about separating yourself from the problem. You are not a failure, you are a person who has experienced failure. The problem is the problem. The person is not the problem. That little space between you and the story is where a new one can begin. Authentic authorship is when you consciously pick up the pen and start writing your own life. It's about questioning the old stories you were given. Where did this belief come from? Who does it help for me to believe this? Does this story empower me, or does it box me in? And then, with courage, you start writing a new chapter, a story based not on what everyone else expects, but on your own values, your true desires, and the real you. These two ideas work together. Detachment gives you the freedom from other people's opinions, clearing out the space. Narrative identity gives you the freedom to create your own meaning, filling that space with a story you choose. You stop asking the world, who should I be? And you start telling the world, this is who I am. This is the key. It's been in your pocket this whole time. Now let's talk about how to actually use it. Knowing the philosophy is one thing, but living it is another. Real freedom takes practice. It takes taking small, deliberate steps to tear down the old prison and build a new life. Here are 4 practical things you can start doing today to walk the path of authentic authorship. Step 1. Hunt down your should-haves. You can't rewrite a story until you know what the current one says. So for the next week, I want you to become a detective of your own mind. Your mission: hunt down every single should that's running your life. Grab a journal and write down every sentence that starts with, I should, I have to, or I'm supposed to. I should go to this party even though I'm exhausted. I should stay in this job because it's safe. I should be more like that person. Next to each one, ask 2 questions. 1. Where did this rule come from? My parents? My culture? Instagram? Be specific. 2. Who does this rule really serve? Does it serve my happiness and my values? Or does it serve someone else's comfort or some vague idea of success? This exercise is about making the invisible visible. You'll be shocked at how many of your daily choices are run by these unexamined rules. Seeing where they come from is the first step to taking your power back. Step 2. Practice micro-detachment. Detachment is a muscle. You wouldn't go to the gym and try to lift 500 pounds on day 1. You start small. Find tiny, low-stakes chances to practice focusing only on your effort and letting go of the outcome. For example, send that important email, reread it once, make sure it's good, then hit send. Your job is done. Actively fight the urge to check for a reply every 5 minutes. The sending was in your control, the reply is not. Another one, when you're talking with someone, focus on saying what you think honestly and kindly. That's your part. Let go of trying to control how they react. Let them have their own feelings without you needing to manage them. These small acts of letting go build your tolerance for uncertainty. They teach your nervous system that you can be okay even when you're not in control. You're practicing the archer's aim. Step 3. Find your core values. An author can't write a good story without a theme. Your values are the theme of your life. If you've been living for others, you probably haven't stopped to define your own. It's time to build your compass. Set aside some time and think about this question: when do I feel most alive and most like myself? Think of specific times. Was it when you were creating something, hiking in nature, helping someone, learning something new? From those moments, pull out the values underneath. Words like creativity, connection, freedom, growth, integrity, service, adventure. Pick your top 3 to 5. These are not just words. This is your new filter for making decisions. From now on, before you make a big choice, ask yourself, does this align with my core values? If you value freedom, a soul-crushing but high-paying job is a bad trade. If you value connection, working 80 hours a week is a betrayal of your own compass. This is how you start writing a story for your life that actually makes sense. Step 4. Practice self-compassion. This whole process is you rebelling against a lifetime of conditioning. It's going to be messy. You're going to slip up. You'll fall back into old habits of people-pleasing and looking for validation. That's guaranteed. And when it happens, you have a choice. You can beat yourself up, which just reinforces the old prison mindset, or you can practice self-compassion. Self-compassion just means treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a good friend. It's not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about giving yourself the support you need to get back on track. Research shows that self-compassion is directly linked to being more authentic. Why? Because when you know you'll catch yourself if you fall, you become much braver. So when you slip up, just notice it without judgment. Say to yourself, this is hard. I'm unlearning decades of this stuff. It's okay that I'm not perfect at it yet. Then gently point yourself back toward your values. This kindness isn't a weakness, it's the fuel you need for the long journey to freedom. This journey of becoming your own author is the most important work you will ever do. It's also a journey that's better when it's not taken alone. Share your experience in the comments below. What is one should you are ready to let go of? Reading each other's stories is a powerful reminder that we're not alone in this fight. We started with the image of a prison. A prison you built, where you were both the prisoner and the guard. For years, maybe you've been standing at the door, key in hand, too afraid to turn the lock. Afraid of what people would think, afraid of letting them down, afraid of the vast, unknown world of a life lived on your own terms. But the key doesn't unlock a life of selfishness or being alone. It unlocks a life of authenticity. The freedom waiting for you isn't an escape from responsibility. It's an embrace of the right one, the responsibility to honor your own soul. Imagine waking up and feeling like your life is aligned, where your actions actually reflect your values. Imagine making choices not from fear, but from a place of deep inner knowing. Imagine having relationships that are more real because you've let yourself be truly seen, flaws and all. Imagine success that isn't measured by applause, but by the quiet, deep satisfaction of a day lived true to your own heart. This isn't a fantasy. This is the promise of authentic authorship. By practicing detachment, you loosen the chains of other people's opinions. By rewriting your own story, you take back the power to define yourself. You stop living a life of quiet desperation, and you start writing a life of deliberate meaning. The door to your prison was never locked from the outside. It just needs the courage to turn the key from within, to step out into the unknown, and to begin the brave, beautiful, and lifelong job of writing your own story. The pen is in your hand. The next page is blank. Go write a masterpiece. Thank you so much for tuning in to Sacred Mind Path. Please like and subscribe for more content on how to supercharge your mind.